I've been fortunate to be able to tour around the world for years. We started with, of course, Kelly and Michelle of Destiny's Child. Our first album came out when I was 15 years old, and we started traveling to Europe and to Japan, and over the years we built up our fan base. And you know, this is actually my first time in Croatia, but every time I keep, you know, I'm able to travel and go different places and keep expanding.
Nice to be known everywhere in the world.
Thank you.
Who made the decision that you, as a career, would use first name only?
Well, my name, Beyonce, is actually my mother's maiden name. Her last name is Beyonce, and there were no more men in the family, no more sons, so she said, let me name my daughter her first name Beyonce, and that's a little confusing enough. You know, growing up, I was called Beyonce and Bounce and Bianici, and Beyonce is easy enough.
Earlier this year, you knocked everybody out when you sang At Last, that great song for Obama's first dance during the inaugural. Here's a little bit of that, and then I'll ask you about it.
They were right in front of me, and the love they have, and they're so gracious, and it was just so contagious, and everyone in the room had goosebumps, including myself, and it was really difficult for me to stay focused and not to lose control because it was so overwhelming. And I know they personally asked me to do the performance, so I wanted to make sure I did it justice. So I tried to keep reminding myself, okay, they asked you personally, so you have to do a good job. And that's the only way I kept my composure, because it was really, really a beautiful, beautiful moment. And I feel like I've worked all these years for that moment. It's the highlight of my career.
Is that song now in your repertoire?
Yes, it is. I actually was able to play the legendary Etta James in a film I co-produced called Cadillac Records, and you know, she's had a very interesting life, and
yeah, no kidding.
I admire her so much. It was very dramatic and really different for me, and it was a stretch for me. I wasn't sure if I was able to do it, if I was ready to do it, and thank God I had the support of my mother, and she convinced me, you're ready. And believe it or not, it's the best performance I've ever given on screen. And I learned a lot from playing that character. She has had, you know, a very amazing life, a lot of accomplishments. And thank God I'm now able to sing that song At Last every night. It's a song that all over the world, no matter where I go, everyone knows it and loves it. And it just gives you that feeling inside that just reminds you of that time. And I'm
it's a beautiful
very blessed
song
to sing it, yes.
The Jimmy Dorsey record had an all-chorus singing it with
really?
Lots of instruments.
Believe it or not, I've never heard it. I need to go and check it out.
It was a #1 song in America in like 1958.
Wow.
No kidding. Okay, now you often talk about an on-stage alter ego, Sasha Fierce.
Yes.
Okay, was Sasha Fierce or Beyonce singing that song?
Oh, that was definitely Beyonce. Sasha Fierce, I usually use when I'm really nervous and when I'm on the stage and I have to do up-tempo songs and I have to be really sexy and in my dance videos. But, you know, it's interesting because the older I get, the more Sasha Fierce comes out all the time, so it's kind of merging. And the name of my album is I Am Sasha Fierce because really it's, you know, I am. It's the same person. It's just kind of my alter ego and the stronger version of myself. Great name, by the way. The Barack Obama presidency, what does it mean to you? I'm so proud. You know, I've always said it. I've never thought I would live for this, you know, to see this moment. And I'm very happy with the progress our country has already made. And being someone that's traveled around the world, I've never seen the enthusiasm in people that are not Americans. And it was time, and it's here, and we're all so fortunate to be here and all feel like we can give back and be more involved. Because there's a lot of things, you know, that I think especially young people, we never felt like we were being spoken to, and now we do. And now it's cool to be involved and to do other things for other people. And even to you know, even on with Twitter and CNN, and it's just wonderful, the movement that's going on with my generation.
Have you, by the way, you ever experienced racism?
Of course. I think, it's definitely something it's here, but I think it's getting a lot better. And I always try to focus on the positive and the progress that we've made. And there are so many people that have sacrificed and have gone through so much for us. And now we don't have to experience it as much. And I almost, I believe that slowly we hopefully in a couple of years we'll all be all mixed up and it won't exist.
Come on.
Get out of my house!
This is crazy, Sharon! Don't you see what's happening?
Get out of my house.
Nothing happened with this. Okay, you know what? You just tell me what you want me to do, and that's what I'll do. Huh?
First, I suggest you pack your toothbrush. And then I want you to get your socks, your shaving kit, your underwear, your prophylactics if you think you need them, and get your ass out.
And go where, Sharon?
To hell! But until then, I suggest maybe the Four Seasons.
Whoa, the movie is Obsessed. Who's the actor?
That's Idris Elba. He's amazing. And, he brought out a lot of wonderful things in my performance. It was the first time I did improv. And, he is a student and a great teacher. And we spent a lot of time just the two of us going back and forth with the script and making our adjustments and making it our own. And I think, I learned so much from working with him and Ali.
Did you like a lot of rough scenes in this? Did you like that kind of heavy drama?
I actually like it a lot more. I feel like it's easier for me, and I guess it's because I hold so many things in because I always have to be so professional and I work very, very hard. So all of the things that I hold in, I'm able to let out when I do movies, and it's really just exhilarating for me to release all of that, when I do dramatic roles.
So you've never had fights like that in real life?
No, not like that, especially not the one in the end. But, it's life. I've seen it, and I use all of my own experiences and my experiences from my friends and from everyone around me.
You like acting as much as singing?
I do. I didn't in the beginning. It took me a couple of movies. Because I was born to sing. I really believe I was born to more than sing, to entertain. And it's very natural for me. And acting came very, very naturally. But once I was able to make the connection that the same, I can experience the same outer body experience when I do a movie, the same excitement, and I'm completely not in my head. I'm completely free when I'm on the stage. And for the first time, I kind of had that light bulb moment when I did the last movie, Cadillac Records, that it's the same thing. And now I'm able to not be conscious of the camera and to have really private moments and expose myself. And I'm really excited now. I get that same adrenaline rush.
That's terrific. You and Jennifer Hudson, you were both at the NAACP Image Awards in February.
Yes.
And Jennifer suffered that tragedy last year of the murder of her mother and brother and young nephew. How is she doing?
I actually just spoke with her. She's doing, I think, very well. She just had a show in Madison Square Garden, and she's such an inspiration, such a beautiful and talented woman, and I'm fortunate to be someone that worked with her on her first movie. She's grown so much, and just to see her strength is beyond inspiring.
Tell me about marriage. You and your husband, Jay-Z, a terrific performer in and of himself. You marked your first anniversary this month. What do you know now you didn't know a year ago?
I know so much every year. Jay and I have always been very private about our relationships. And even after we became husband and wife, we still continue to be private, and I think it's protected us from a lot of things, and people give us a lot of respect. And I guess I learned that as happy as I am, I still need to keep it Private.
How are you able in this modern world, and you mentioned it, tweeters and CNNs and paparazzi and people following down the street and inquiring minds and tabloids, how do you stay private?
It's really difficult, very difficult, especially when you're happy. And some people just make up things and make up rumors and to try to get you to speak and defend things, and you just have to be really secure in your relationship. And I was always a private person. It's difficult, but I know in the end, the amount of time we've been together is longer than, most people's in this industry. It's very rare, so it must be
True.
working.
You told Vogue magazine that you called Michelle Obama after the inaugural, thank her for the opportunity, and you say she told you she was glad that her daughters had someone like you to look up to. How'd that make you feel?
It's something that is the ultimate compliment. Especially right now. I have a younger sister, so I feel like I've always had someone that looked up to me. But to think that, I'm responsible for so many young people, sometimes is really overwhelming. But I am very conscious of that when I make decisions, and especially the older I get, I don't take it for granted, and especially for beautiful children, like the Obamas. I met them, and they're so young, and I can only imagine the pressure that they have to be under. But they're amazing children, and I will always be aware and always try my best to be a great role model.
You like that idea then?
I really do. It used to terrify me, but now I feel like it's, my music is bigger than just performing and dancing in videos. I have a voice, and I try to teach women how badly we need each other, how much we need to support each other, and how anything that you really want, you have to work for. And that's something that I feel like I can now be an example to young people.
Your husband, Jay-Z, had a lot to do with Rihanna's early career. And back in February, he said he thought everyone should support her in that mess with Chris Brown. How do you feel about that whole thing?
Well, I think she's doing a lot better. She is such a very talented woman and very smart. And I think it's really important in those times of need that people give people their privacy. So all you can do is pray and leave it up to the people around her and her to make great decisions, and she has, and she will, and I'm here to support her as well as all of my family. She's like family to me, and all of Jay and all of my family.
Let's go to other things. You've got a successful clothing line. People call you a fashion icon. So I'm going to ask you about someone else. What do you think about, everyone talks about her, the way Michelle Obama dresses? Oh,
she's so chic. And one thing about her, she knows how to dress appropriately. Wherever she is just, her lines are always clean. She knows how to dress for her body. Very timeless. If you see her pictures years from now, they will never be out of style or out of fashion. And she's very, very classy, of course. But she ain't buying on Rodeo Drive. No, and that's something that she teaches us. You don't have to spend a lot of money to look like Michelle Obama, who is the fashion icon. And I think that's, something that, especially right now in this time, we all need to know. By the way, with this tour starting Sunday, you get a little nervous? Oh, of course, especially the first couple of shows. There's so many things that can go wrong, but you just have to kind of fight through it. And right now it's getting easier. I've actually done a couple of shows in Canada, and the crowd and my reviews were all amazing. The crowd loved it. So I'm never satisfied. Every night I watch the show and I give my notes, and I always try to critique and make things better, but I still get nervous. That's why I created Sasha Fierce. Yeah, well, Sinatra told me the same thing. Every time before he went on stage, and he said if you don't get that, then be nervous. Something's the matter. It's true. Something is wrong. It's time to go find another job. On your last tour, did you fall down? I did, yes. Not
Yeah,
only my
what
last
happened?
tour, I fall all the time. But, you know, it was the year that YouTube got so hot. So, unfortunately, now whenever I fall, it ends up on YouTube. And it ended up all on the news. And, you know, I have a scar on my leg that will be here forever. So it's something that reminds me that, you know, I do fall. And it's not
Why
about
do
the
you-
fall. It's about how high you bounce right back up.
Why do you fall? Do you do a lot of movement?
Oh, yeah, I do. I do a lot of choreography, and I'm always in very high heels, and I'm running up and down stairs and doing flips and harnessed, and, you know, I'm very, you know, I do a lot of things, very physical. I'm a huge fan of Michael Jackson and Prince, and people that are able to sing and dance at the same time. It's really difficult. I basically am, you know, it's very athletic. It's like an athlete, and every time I go on the stage, I kind of go into the zone, like it's a game, like you know. So it's like that adrenaline that takes over. So even when I fall, you know, like I said earlier, I'm not afraid of anything. I'm completely out of control and like in the zone. So I'm not afraid that I'm going to fall down the stairs, but the reality is sometimes I am going to fall.
Yeah.
But I can't let that stop me from giving my all on the stage.
Okay, one other thing. You've accomplished so much. You want to be a mother?
I do, yes, definitely. I have the best mother in the world, and my mother is literally my best friend. I respect her so much, and I admire her, and I had a wonderful and great example. She was very hardworking, and I can trust her with anything. So, of course, I want to be a mother, and I only pray that my relationship with my daughter is like the relationship I have with my mother. But I do feel like I have so many things to accomplish, and I'm still young. I'm 27, and I feel like I've accomplished a lot of things, but I haven't seen the best of myself, and the world hasn't seen the best of me. So when it's time and when it happens, when it's meant to be, it will, but I'm in no rush.
I always wrote and produced my records, and Destiny's Child records, Survivor, Independent Woman, Jumpin', all of those records. So it's not really that different. Actually, there was less pressure because I didn't tell anyone, and it was all about the music. I used to go and write in the studio just for fun. And when you do so many records and you have the pressure, then that kind of goes away. So I wanted to go back to that, where it was just me and the songwriters, and we just had little jam sessions and had conversations and made it fun again. And it allowed me to not think about labels or think about radio stations or think about what's commercial. I just had fun, and I think the record came out a lot better because of that.
You didn't tell your dad either, who's been with you every step of the way.
Yes.
That was a big move. Why you didn't tell him?
I didn't tell him because I didn't want interviews to be scheduled, and I didn't want the label to know, and I didn't want it to be about business. I wanted it to be strictly about music.
A lot of people have likened the dynamic of your relationship with him to Michael Jackson and his father, Joe Jackson. You know, they both had their kids performing at an early age. You guys both were in groups.
Right.
And it was almost like they were the puppeteers and you guys were the puppets. And then at some point, Michael decided to cut the strings. Is that where you are in your career?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Well, first of all, my relationship with my father is completely different. I can't speak for Michael and Joe, but from the stories that I've heard, we have different lives. My father did not choose for me to be a singer. I chose to be a singer. I'm fortunate to have supportive parents. I had a very healthy childhood. I'm a very normal woman. And I was never forced or pushed to do anything. And I know that my father is someone I can trust. And usually people, when they're in my position, they have yes people around them that tell them everything they do is cute and hide and when everything isn't. And I have the truth around me. And that's why I've been able to maintain my spirit and my soul.
You know, I have a daughter. I can't even imagine her not telling me what she's doing with her life.
Well, it's 2 weeks. And my dad was so excited and happy to hear the record. He didn't care. He's just happy that we had the record.
Most people's perception of Beyonce is that, you know, you're always gracious You're always glamorous. You're always composed. It doesn't seem like you ever get scared.
I absolutely get scared. Every time I get on the stage, I'm nervous. I'm actually really scared when I'm not nervous, because then I don't transform into that person that people are used to seeing. I'm really more quiet and not really shy, but reserved, and I speak when spoken to and polite. And when I'm on the stage, I'm aggressive, I'm strong, I'm fearless, I'm, you know, not who I really am in real life. So before that, I'm terrified.
You're terrified?
Yes.
Beyonce fearlessly transforms herself in the first single and video from B-Day, Deja Vu, a song that finds the sexy singer leaving her comfort zone. From high-energy vocals that some feel stray well beyond B's normal sweet spot,
the song has a feeling of desperation,
to the urgent, frenetic video where it's most definitely all eyes on Beyonce.
It's my responsibility as an artist to do things that are different and to take risks and not to do what is predictable and what's expected, which would have been a studio and 4 girls behind me. Kind of what, you know, what I've been doing and what I did my last album. I wanted people to get a better feel for who I am. So I chose to be the only person in the video. And I wanted the video to be more cinematic, and I wanted the fashion to be different. I wanted to just be something new.
So you want to just step out of the box of what people expect from
Absolutely.
Beyonce.
For a superstar like Beyonce, stepping out of the box as she did in Deja Vu also means a heightened exposure to scrutiny.
You can't just release a record and have people accept it. It can't just be taken for a work of art. You're Beyonce. Everything has to be perfect. I don't know if you realize it, but there were reactions from different fan blogs of yours and where people feel like the video was too racy. And there's a scene where you bend down in front of Jay-Z's buckle where they thought that might have been too provocative for some of your younger fans.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think about, how do you respond to that?
Well, I'm an adult and I can only be responsible for myself, but I thought it was great.
So when people react to you or some of your creative work that you've done, and you may hear this type of feedback, do you even care?
Oh, I absolutely care. I mean, I'm a human being. I like for people to like what I do, but I can't please everyone. You got to just set priorities, and I've learned to say no to things, which has helped a lot.
Since you were 19, pretty much, people have always tried to probe in your business, and that comes with the territory of becoming an international star. They make up things, if your weight fluctuates, they say, Beyonce has an eating disorder.
I haven't heard that one.
Does that upset you?
No, not at all. I expect it. And I did always know that it would come with the territory, and I think because I've been private, I've been protected in a way. And I don't think it's going to stop. So I can harp on it and be negative about it, or I can deal with it and say it's not personal. They do it to everybody.
Is that how you really deal with it? I'm sure you've heard 1,000 rumors about you and Jay. Y'all got married in the Hamptons. You didn't know
Yes, we got married and divorced in the same day.
In the same day?
Yes.
That didn't upset you?
No, why would that upset me? That's nothing to get upset about. Now, if people want to attack my family, or if they want to say something really evil, negative, then that upsets me. But something like that, that's silly. It doesn't even make sense.
So y'all never got married?
No.
Okay, great. We cleared that up.
Cleared it up.
On national TV.
Coming up, find out what inspired Beyonce's desire to take control.
It's the record that women need to hear.
And see what it takes to get her all fired up.
I'm screaming at the top of my lungs. I don't even scream. Look at some of the year's hottest members of the Fake ID Club. I hope y'all don't, y'all are not going to show it, are you?
It's already been shown.
No.
But you've done a lot since then. You've seen the world, you've broken records, you've accomplished so much. You reached heights that most singers don't get a chance to reach in a lifetime.
We have a Grammy!
What have you learned since then, from the time you were 19 to now that you're about to be 25?
Well, I guess the most important thing is It's not the quantity of things I do, it's the quality. And I'm way more selective and more specific, more involved. I am really picky, and I make sure everything I do is something that I'll be proud of for, 10 years from now, 15 years from now.
On the eve of her 25th birthday, Beyonce's desire to do quality work extends beyond her Grammy-winning, multi-platinum singing career to her growing career as an actress. Ironically, her latest movie role is where she would find the inspiration to take her music to the next level.
I want to talk about the album, but first I want to talk about the movie Dreamgirls, because I understand that's what inspired the album.
Absolutely, yes. Dreamgirls, every time I talk about it, I can't stop smiling because when we were on the set, there's certain things that are like once in a lifetime, and you're never gonna experience something so wonderful. It was that experience. I know I was born for the part, and I had to read for the part. They didn't just give it to me, which made me feel even better because I had to show that, I had to earn it. I got an acting coach, and we worked for months before I started filming the movie. I lost 20 pounds. I every day woke up doing emotional diaries and crying, and I thought about, some of my toughest moments in my life and brought out a lot of emotion that I don't have to think about. And it was really interesting because it's all learning for me because I've done movies before, but I've never been able to call myself an actor until this film. Now I can say it with confidence.
Do you know how many times I thought about you? Are you all right?
So Dina, the character you played, inspired this album, Beyonce, B-Day.
Absolutely.
How so?
Because Dina was a woman and her dreams became her husband's dreams. And her whole life, she didn't do what she wanted to do. She didn't know who she was. She didn't know her voice. And eventually she does find her voice. And she knows where she wants to go in life. And I was Dina for 6 months. I didn't allow myself to go in the studio because I didn't want to get myself confused with this character. So I had so many things bottled up, so many emotions, so many things I wanted to say that while I was supposed to be on vacation, I snuck away to the studio and recorded this record in 2 weeks. And that's why most of the records are so aggressive. And
is that sense of urgency I heard when I listened?
Absolutely. I had a lot to say. It's the record that women need to hear.
If 2000's independent women hinted at the direction Beyonce was headed as an artist, then B-Day's Ring the Alarm sounds off for Beyonce's female fans that the normally soft-spoken singer has arrived.
Ring the alarm! I've been through this too long!
I'm screaming at the top of my lungs. I don't even scream, but I had a lot to scream about.
Break that song down, because as a man, I was listening, I kind of took that personal.
Well, women clean men up sometimes. Not all women, not all men, but sometimes, they dress different. They learn a lot of things. They learn how to be a man. And then if they dog you out and you move on, and another woman just benefits all those things. So I'm saying ring the alarm. I've been through this too long, but I'll be damned if I see another chick on your arm.
Your album, every song has something that I think a female can relate to, and even men for that matter. I think men can listen to the lyrics of these songs and learn a lot about women.
And what we think.
And how you guys think. And we could come close to knowing. We can never really figure it out. But
listen to figure it out.
Listen to the album, we'll come closer. One thing I notice about great careers are milestones. And you had one a few years back when you performed for the first time as a solo artist at the MTV Video Music Awards. All right. Take me back to that moment, because that was a crazy performance.
It was. I remember we had the idea of me coming in upside down. And when we first told everyone at MTV, they said, well, the idea sounds great, but we don't know. It might not be realistic. So I practiced it and got comfortable, and they allowed me to do it. And the next day were the actual awards. So I'm hanging upside down, and Pharrell is doing his announcements, and he doesn't know I'm upside down. He doesn't know I've been sitting there for 2 minutes. And I was turning purple because I couldn't breathe. And I was terrified already. And once I got down and did the performance, everything was all good. And it was a magical moment for me.
No, it was very magical. Yeah. And it was two firsts. That was your first performance as a solo artist, and that was your first performance we saw on MTV with you and Jay-Z as professionals. Now, that could have went either way. That could have flopped or that could have hit big.
Yeah.
Were you guys concerned about that?
No, not at all. I don't even think we thought about it. It was not rehearsed or we weren't nervous. We just did what we do.
You have a record on your album called Upgrade You. And Jay's featured on that. And that record is interesting. When I heard it, I thought about the dynamic of Jay-Z and Beyonce. Because when you first did Me and My Girlfriend on Jay's record, it was at a time where I felt like Destiny Child, though they were still popular, the street cred was wavering a little bit, okay? And Jay was the king of street cred. But you also brought mainstream exposure and pop exposure to Jay, and it worked. When y'all did Crazy in Love, it just went to a hope on your record in terms of the streets and his credibility and how it could help your career.
Well, when we worked together, we weren't thinking, okay, let's do this so you can help my career, so I can help your career. He is one of the best, if not the best, hip-hop MC. And he feels the same about me with the R&B music. Every time we worked together, it wasn't, for, okay, this would help you here and help you there. It just sounded like records that he could be on. Who else could have rapped on Deja Vu?
Slow, so unusual.
Who else could have rapped over that beat in Crazy in Love?
Young B and the ROC.
At least in my opinion, only Jay. And he felt the same with the songs that I was on his records. And that probably is true what you said, but we never really sat down and thought about that.
What's beyond debate is that in a few short years, Beyonce has catapulted herself into the music stratosphere with all the fame, fortune, and pressure that come with success.
We've seen a lot of great vocalists, a lot of stars. Whitney Houston, arguably the best vocalist of our era. Mariah Carey, who've had equal success, but weren't able to hold on, cracked under pressure in some instances. You don't seem to do that. What is it that you do to balance all of this out?
First of all, there's something bigger than me that's in control of my life. And I have faith, and I know that I'm favored. And I have a strong foundation around me, and everyone does not have the parents that I have. I also set dreams at a very young age, and I was not into parties and into guys until I got older. I still am not into parties, but I wasn't, when I got out of school, when I was a teenager, when I was in my 1920s, then I started, growing up. But before that, I focused on my music. I love what I do. And when you love what you do, you can tell, you see the passion, and I know that it's a lot of other people that will love to be where I am, so I don't take anything for granted.
Okay, if you had to choose between a career and a personal life, which would you choose?
Right now, personal life.
Personal life?
I've achieved far more than I ever expected, but thank God I don't have to choose.
When we first met Beyonce here at MTV, one of your early interviews, you might have been 19 or 20.
I'm very young. I'm 19 years old.
You said that you hoped to do enough work so that you'll be capable of retiring at 30.
By the time I'm 30, I want a certain amount of money in the bank, and I don't want to work.
You still feel the same way?
Yes.
If you painted the perfect picture at 30, what would your life look like?
Probably married, maybe kid or two. I don't think it's possible. I would love to have an Oscar, but that is the most ambitious thing. I have time for that. Do a movie a year, an album a year. Because if I have kids, I will want to be focus on being a mother and a wife, and that would be great.
Do you find time to live your life, to live your 20, you are 21
I'm 20.
years old.
I'm 20 now. I'm about to 21 in 4 months. Really, I've lived my life touring and working, still having fun because I love Kelly and Michelle, and we have fun. And we try to. That's very important. That's why I'm in a group, because when you're in a group, it's beautiful. When you're tired, or when every city seems like the same city, and you're in a hotel and you're lonely and bored, and you go to their hotel room and you go find something to do. If it's just working out or watching TV or ordering a movie or going, get your favorite food, and us just talking and, watching TV or whatever. So I've lived my life. It's not been a normal life. Well, it's been a normal life to me, but to people that go to school and, get jobs and all that. I have a job, but it's a different kind of job. Okay, anyway. Sometimes I wish I had, all the time, I wish I had more time to live and not work, because it's a beautiful thing and it's a curse to do so much. It's great, but it's lonely, and it sometimes you want just time. If I had like 2 months out of the year, not even 2 months, 2 months, I guess I could deserve 2 months. 2 months out of the year that I didn't do anything. Not together, just time off, period. If it's just a week here, a week there, then I'll be okay. And I'm trying to do more of that. But unfortunately, when you're doing movies and L'Oreal and touring and albums and producing and all that, it's very hard to live.
Yeah. And you were born in Houston, Texas?
Yes.
What is a Texan girl?
A Texan girl. It's not a Texan girl. I mean,
You're a Texan girl.
I'm a Texan girl, but everybody's so different. It's hard to say what a Texan girl is. I think it's very hot in Texas, and I like the heat because that's where I grew up. The food is very good, big portions. I like to eat. I guess Texan girls like it hot and they like to eat. Mm-hmm. And got the little southern twang and the southern heart, the southern hospitality. And that's the southern girl.
Do you go back there often?
Yeah, I live there. My house is there. I still live with my parents, actually, there. I haven't been there in a long time. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I have to get a good crowd, because being a celebrity, people want you to be this person. And even if you're not this person, sometimes they make you this person. They cut up stuff and edit it or reword certain things to make you this person, this star, this diva, this. And that's not who I am. Sometimes I think people think that because they read certain things and they believe rumors and they don't know you. And that hurts, because that's not how you are, and that you have no control over that, and that makes me cry. Sometimes I read certain things, and it's not even that what they're saying, is just the fact that it's millions of people that are reading and believing, and there's nothing you can do about it. And you don't want people to feel that they know you when they don't, and it's sad. Being away from home, sometimes you get homesick or just tired, and you're just so tired that you just want to cry. Mm-hmm. But sometimes when I go to church, actually every time I go to church I cry, because it brings you back and it lets you know how blessed you are, and I'm healthy. I've accomplished a lot, and I work hard and I don't get as much time off as I need, but I'm alive. So sometimes you think about that. Sometimes I think about how much I love my mom and dad, and I cry, because it's unbelievable. Like, you can't, it's unbelievable.
And so you believe in God?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Does it help you in your work?
Yes.
Yeah.
It helps totally. That's what brings me back. I mean, you work so hard, you work. You get tired, you get frustrated, and then you go to church, and then it brings you back, and then you can start over. I mean, or you pray every day.
and then it makes you feel blessed, and you know that God is with you and you have nothing to complain about. So that's what keeps me sane.
And if you meet God in the street, what would you say to him?
That's a very good question. I would just thank him. I wouldn't really ask him a question. I'd just thank him for everything.
To get where you are now, you must have done a lot of sacrifice. And what is your worst memory?
My worst memory?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's deep. I don't know. It's a lot of memories, good, bad. I don't know which one is worse, but I really don't like to think about them, you know? It's over it. I'm over it and moved on. I can't tell you which one is my worst. I think the worst thing probably was during the time when we got new members and I was being criticized and people were blaming it on me, and I would have to read all this crazy stuff, and I didn't want to get out of the bed, and I was depressed, and I didn't eat, and I stayed in my room for like a month. That was really bad. Every time I think about it, it's just sad. But I'm happy I went through it, because I wouldn't have written Survivor. I wouldn't have, I wouldn't be who I am. I wouldn't know about friendship and loyalty, and I wouldn't know half of what I know. So all the struggles make you wiser, and I don't regret any of the bad memories, because, in the end, it turns into good memories.
Control me, boy, you get it dismissed. Diamonds and I pay my own bills. Ladies, it ain't easy being independent. Question, I just like the knowledge that I brought. Bragging on the cash that he gave you is a front. If you gonna brag me, show with your money you front. Depend on no one else to give you what you want. Be still right now. We want everybody to enjoy the show, all right? All right. Destiny's Child, you in the house. We'll break these people up.
Fashion is so fun, and you can be so creative, and it's kind of like playing dress up. I love figuring out what new thing you're gonna do. Like, it's great because we've done so many different things with our hair and with the clothes and the vibe. And it's just like a kid in a candy store when you are there and it's all these racks full of clothes. Sometimes, though, it gets frustrating because my mom is a stylist and I grew up trying on clothes. And when the other girls weren't there, then I would have to try on the clothes. So I really, really hate trying on clothes. Like, I can see them and be like, oh, that's hot, that's hot. But I hate trying them on. Like, when I go to stores, I do not try on clothes. And that's bad because then most of the time they don't fit and then I have these clothes. But that's the only thing. When you, it's cool, like a couple outfits, but after like 3 outfits, it's like, all right, man, that's enough.
What makes you crazy about today's now?
Crazy in a good way or bad?
Bad way.
Okay. What makes me crazy about men? They're very confusing. But, you know, women are too. I'm learning that, you know, there's certain things about men that you just have to deal with. And I mean, you know, they are like... it's I don't want to say. It's very confusing. The older I get, the more confused I am. I think they feel the same way about women, but I think men sometimes are very afraid to fall in love with a woman because when you're in love, that person has this control over your emotions, and they don't want to give someone that control because they want to be men, and they don't express themselves. But when they do, then it's wonderful. But just getting to that point, and I don't know, they're confusing. So are we. You know, that's life.
And what does the man of your dreams look like?
The man of my dreams doesn't look like anything. I don't have a specific look.
Yeah.
It's
But
more what.
really...
It's more what are they like? I mean, I want to be attracted to the person. You know, I want to like how they look, but it's not a specific way that I like. Usually, every guy that I've talked to looks totally different from each other. It's not a certain thing that I like. And I'm attracted to the person, and then I start noticing how good they look. More just someone that I can learn from, that is giving and nice and has a good heart, and I can communicate with and have a good conversation with, and I can learn from and be friends with, more importantly. And, you know, whatever, I guess that's enough.
According to you, what is the link between the original rhythm and blues of the 60s and the R&B of nowadays?
It's all soul. It's all music that makes you want to dance, and it's all everyday situations, things that you feel and you sing about. And the music in the 60s and 70s had so much heart and so much soul that you couldn't help but dance to it and want to get up and move, and it just made you feel whatever that person was singing. And I think we've kind of lost that, and the live instruments just bring so much. That's why I'm bringing it in my music back, because it's beautiful. But it's hard because I have to find the medium between music now and the music then and kind of bring it together and make a new sound. I've done a couple of songs with the Neptunes, and I plan on doing more with them. Hopefully, I want to work with Raphael Sadiq. I love him. And it's so many people. Like, I love D'Angelo. I love Lauryn Hill. I would love to work with her. Stevie Wonder, actually, I would like to write a song with him. And Kim Burrell, who's a gospel singer, I want to work with her. And so many people, yeah.
And why do you split up now? that everything is going so well for Destiny's Child?
Well, obviously Destiny's Child's not split up. We're doing a tour together now. Michelle's record is out right now, and she's still a member of Destiny's Child. I've done movies. I'm still a member of Destiny's Child. Kelly's done sitcoms. She's still a member of Destiny's Child. Unfortunately, in this world, for some reason, people cannot even fathom a female group doing individual projects and still being in a group. And men do it all the time. You have bands that go and do separate things and come back and they love their group and they have jam sessions and they go perform and go on tour and they still have their own individual stuff and the group stuff. We plan on doing the same thing. And actually, we are doing the same thing. I've always loved the 70s. I love the music. I love the fashion. I love the hair, the clothes, the everything, the soul. And I knew I was doing a solo project, but I was too scared to wear my hair in an afro and to go and do music like that for no reason because I thought that would scare people, like it was too big of a change. Then I get this call from Austin Powers saying that we want you to play Foxy Cleopatra, who is Foxy Brown, Cleopatra Jones mixed, and she's like blaxploitation. Sorry, she was totally what I loved, and now after doing this film, I have a reason to do this music I love, and it makes sense rather than just shocking people and them being scared. So the movie actually inspired a lot, but even before the movie, I loved that music and I wanted to do that music, and then that just gave me the exactly what I needed to do what I love.
Yo, Paris, France! Destiny's Child has a question for y'all tonight. I want to know, how many of y'all ready for that new Austin Powers and Goldmember movie starring my girl, Miss Beyonce knows? Excuse me. I want y'all to give it up real loud for my girl who worked her butt off in this new movie, Austin Powers and Goldmember. Miss Foxy Cleopatra is the character that she played. And I want y'all to check out this song, Work It Out. And I want y'all to sing every single lyric to it, all right? Y'all gonna do that for Destiny's Child tonight? Work it out, baby. Y'all ready for some old school? Work it out. Woo! How you doing, honey, baby? You know I don't ask for much, but poor girl spending time alone can be pretty rough. But you know it's yours for sure. Can't wait for the bedroom, so just hit the door. Sing it, girl. I don't know, but I know what's happening to me, girl. Sing it, Charles.
happens in life. I've accomplished a lot at such a young age. As far as writing and producing, I still want to write and produce, but I think I've accomplished what I wanted. I've written a couple of #1 songs. The biggest song in 2000, I've won an ASCAP award, which is I'm the second female in the world to ever win this. The only 20-year-old, I think the first black woman, and that's wonderful to me. So I've accomplished that. As far as selling records, we've done that. That's beautiful and it's great. The quality of everything that I do is my concern now. Not everything that we've done has been great quality, but I just want to do what I want to do now. And one day, eventually, I want to be like a Barbra Streisand or a Celine Dion, or I want to still do movies and still do records like a Tina Turner. I want to be, older, however old they are, and still be selling out tours, and that's beautiful to me. But I want to live like on an island and get married and have kids in a couple years too.
Okay. How is it to be like a sex symbol?
I don't think about it. It's certain things I can't see, like certain pictures I'm like, ew, or certain I don't really think about it. That's weird for me, because that's like, that's weird. I don't even know how to answer the question. I really wouldn't want to call myself any queen of anything, because I don't know if I'm the queen of anything yet. I'm working towards that.
But it's flattering when people say that you are the queen of
It is. It is very flattering. But I don't think that's something you should label yourself. That's something you have to earn and someone has to give you.
You were the first ever woman to headline at Glastonbury, an amazing achievement.
Yes.
What was it like for you last night?
Well, I'm still walking on the clouds. I'm still kind of shocked. I can't believe what happened to me happened yesterday. And I think it's because I've seen Glastonbury in photographs, and I've seen it, when I've traveled here and on television, and only amazing rock stars perform, and it's just the coolest festival. And I was able to see my husband perform there a couple years ago, and it was one of the most exciting nights. He had a bit of controversy, and he came out and performed Oasis song, and the crowd went crazy, and I thought, oh my God, I'm just so honored to be here, and prayed that one day I'd be able to do it. And 3 years later, I was asked to headline and be the first woman and first African-American woman.
That's the amazing thing. Never mind any other criteria. You were the first woman to ever play at this incredible event.
Yeah.
To ever headline it.
It's a little strange when you think about it, but I'm just happy that I'm the first woman. And it was so many women out there, and it was incredible, because the men usually, when I have them do certain parts, they're trying to be cool, but they were like just belting out the songs, and everybody was just united. And
well, let's watch a little clip from last night, and then I'll ask you your reaction to this.
Okay.
I mean, watching that, I was struck by several things. One was the glint in your eye when you said you'd always wanted to be a rock star. Like you finally felt you were a proper rocker.
Exactly.
Is that what Glastonbury does to you? It makes you feel that?
It's the mud, it's all of the beautiful people. Everyone is...
Well, a lot of them are quite ugly, actually.
No, I love it. It's not about fashion, it's not about trying to be cool. Everyone just is cool. And that's what I love about it. It's not about your production, it's not about how many hits you have. It's about good music and everything coming from the inside. And everyone has so much love and appreciation for a good performance. And I love when I can not have to think about all the other things that are not as interesting, and I can just belt out the songs and dance from the heart, and I know that it's appreciated.
So here's the weird thing. Watching you last night, you seemed about 20 feet tall. You were like this giantess coming at me
It's
in my
television.
big widescreen TV, right? And then I meet you, and you're quite tiny, aren't you?
People say that I'm a lot smaller than they think I am on TV,
It's
but
the
I
way
think
you
they
kind
do it. They say that to everyone. They say it to other girls in Destiny's Child. They say it to my husband, to my mother. I think it's just the television.
I mean, the thing that struck me watching you about I've never watched a whole Beyonce concert before, so I was fascinated to see how you go about this. A, the energy levels that you kept up were extraordinary. B, the size of your heels. How did you stay up? Isn't it really wet that stage?
It was very slippery. And the first song, I was like, oh, okay, am I going to make it? I thought I was going to have to switch shoes. And I actually had wellies on the side of the stage just in case. But I've been practicing in heels since I was 13 years old. And to be honest, it's kind of second nature. The heels are second nature. It's just a part of it. Whenever I rehearse, I have on my heels. And
well, the whole theme of last night was, I don't like the phrase girl power, but it was about the empowerment of women.
Yes.
You were like strutting around that stage, making men like me feeling pretty useless at home. Thinking, I have no right to even be near this woman.
Not at all.
I mean, quite intimidating, this kind of thing you do.
No, but I definitely feel that it is my job to empower women. And I remember having this dream that my band was all females, and I told my male band at the time, I'm sorry, guys. Y'all are so talented, but you're not women. And they all had wigs on. They came to the last performance like, we can do it. But I found these incredible women and incredible background singers. And I do have men on the stage as well. I have great male dancers.
Up or washing your shoe heels for you?
No, they're some incredible dancers. And it's great to have that camaraderie. I feel like I learned so much from the other musicians, and it makes me want to be a better musician.
What do you feel when you're there and you've got 175,000 people going crazy? This is never going to happen to me. Much as I'd love to think it will, it isn't. Those days are over. When you walk out and you get this surge of energy from a crowd like that, you've never performed to a crowd that big.
No.
What does it feel like?
Well, before I performed, I was so scared. I was like a leaf. I was really, really afraid. And I had to just say, forget that it's 175,000 people and pretend it's just like the show you did 2 days ago and you've been doing this your whole life, and just have fun. And, you know, we all got together, said our prayer, and we took our breaths and tried to exhale all the negativity, and I just had to tell myself I deserve it. I'm a diva. I've worked hard, and I psyched myself up. And once you hear the crowd and you get past the first couple of minutes, then it's time to rock. It's time to have a good time and enjoy.
So I love that phrase, I'm a diva. You say that proudly.
I do.
A lot of stars, they sort of shy away. I'm not a diva. You love being a diva.
Well, because I've met what a diva is supposed to be. And I've met, you know, Patti LaBelle, and I've met Tina Turner, and I've met these incredible women.
What is a true diva?
Graceful and talented and strong and fearless and brave, and someone with humility. And I think, you know, it's an appropriate time to be a diva. And, you know, I did not show up in my costume that I wore yesterday because...
I was kind of hoping you might. It wasn't really a costume.
Yes,
it was more like a bit of beachwear. You slapped the jacket on.
No, it was not. It was a costume. And I did not wear that because it's appropriate for the stage. But there is a certain mentality and a certain aura that's appropriate for the stage, but it's only appropriate for the stage.
So what went into the thinking for the outfit for me then? I'm fascinated. I mean, when you woke up, you thought, it's Piers, it's CNN.
You know, I just tried on a few dresses, and I like the color.
Yeah, but come on, humour me. How many did you try on before you thought?
I tried on two. I tried on
Really?
a red suit, and I tried on this, and I said, I like the color. It makes me feel happy.
What made you think that was the right one for me?
It's all about the color. It's a beautiful day. It's the warmest day here.
It's the warmest day in Britain for 5 years.
Exactly.
You brought the heat, lady.
Yes.
What I'm fascinated about with your new album is the fact that you took this year off before you did this. This is a woman who's worked so hard in the way that your parents did before you. When you had this year off, what did you learn about yourself?
I learned a lot about myself. The biggest thing I learned is I love to perform. I love music. I love what I do. I love singing in the studio and writing songs and coming up with video treatments, to the point that during that year, I do not count the 72 songs I recorded as work because it's what I was born to do. And I learned balance. I learned the importance of taking time for myself. And I was moving around so much that I had no idea that I really have 16 Grammys. Like, I've heard that, and I got up and accepted my awards, but I didn't realize what an amazing accomplishment that was.
You never had time, presumably. No. It's just this treadmill.
Yes.
The more successful you get, the less time you have to enjoy anything.
Exactly.
So finally you went, enough. I'm having a year out. I'm going to enjoy what I've achieved and a bit of real life. What was the most fun you had in the real world?
Well, I did everything. You know, I definitely enjoyed the simple things like, you know, driving and picking my nephew up from school, traveling but not working, and actually visiting museums and seeing ballets and having great conversations with people on the plane.
Really?
Yeah, just having normal...
Why do I never get to sit next to people like you on a plane? Can you let me know your schedule next time?
Okay.
So you're on some plane and you start talking to some random person?
Yes, and you know what? It's great when people really don't know who you are. And it's funny because people sometimes say, I'm sorry, I'm just realizing I didn't know. And I'm like, that's why the conversation was so great. Because you just forget how wonderful it is just to...
When they ask you what you do, what do you say?
They didn't.
You just have a normal conversation?
Not until, you know, people start getting weird and asking for pictures, and they're like, what is going on? But I visited, you know, the pyramids, and I was able to sing at the top of the pyramid.
No, I heard you sang Ave Maria.
I did.
While in one of the tombs of the pyramids.
Yes.
And it just echoed around.
It was...
What a moment.
It was beautiful. And who would ever think that I'd get an opportunity to do that? I was there alone with my family, and, you know...
Any truth in the rumor that you and Jay-Z are having joint pyramids built? To be remembered by? That's just rumor?
That's a good one.
I just made it up.
Okay.
But I thought it was quite a good one.
It is a good one. I haven't heard that one. That's a good one. It might stick.
I think I'm bad. Beyonce's my name. And love is my game. So take a sip of my potion and do it in slow motion. She thinks she's bad. Babe, don't make me mad.
That is hilarious. I mean, even at 6, you were showing off.
I was.
Seriously, very precocious performer.
It's very embarrassing, actually. That's not something you need everyone to see.
But even as a kid, can you remember the thought process when you were that young? Did you always know, I am going to be a star, I don't care what it takes?
I didn't at all know that I was going to be a star. But I did know that I felt very comfortable when I was on the stage. I was really shy, and I did not speak much. I was more comfortable with adults because my mother owned a hair salon, and I stayed in her salon. I was in grown people's business all day trying to listen to their conversations. And when I got on the stage, you know, my mother put me in dance lessons, and I really loved it. And I think, you know, when they saw me perform, they were like, wait a minute, she's like in heaven. And they realized that it was where I could step out of my shell, and I just felt the most like myself.
I mean, I thought that last night watching it. You
Really?
just seemed like in utopia for you.
Absolutely.
Like it just couldn't get better. And yet I keep hearing how shy you are. Last night, I mean, I've never seen such self-confidence in almost any performer. Where do you get it from? I mean, how do you create that kind of aura when by nature you're not really like that?
I don't know. I think for one, I'm not shy anymore. I am the person at the dinner party that is quiet and observing and having a one-on-one conversation. I get embarrassed when it's a lot of people and a lot of eyes, and I'm still that way. I wouldn't say shy, but now, you know, on the stage, I've been doing it for a while, and it's my place to be me and to be free, and I don't feel like I'm being judged. I feel like it doesn't matter how irritated I am or angry I am or excited or in love or whatever emotion. When I get on the stage, I'm just purely free. And I feel so honored every time I get on the stage because I know, I've been doing this for 15 years and it's what I love to do. And so many other people that love to do the same thing and they don't get to perform in front of 175,000 people.
A lot of performers come from quite damaged backgrounds or dysfunctional in some way. What's quite refreshing about your story is it's not really like that. You came from a remarkably successful family, not lots of money, but your dad was a top Xerox guy when he was young. Your mum ran this incredibly successful salon. And they both taught you, A, that if you want to be successful, you've got to work really hard.
Absolutely.
And it seemed to me they taught you about the importance of when you get there to be humble, to not lose the sense of who you are.
They absolutely did. I learned, my mother worked 13 hours a day. And I never heard her complain. I mean, she worked until her feet were calloused. And my father was such an incredible entrepreneur, and any and everything he said he would have, he worked until he had it. And he taught me there's no such thing as no. And I had a lot of great support. And I think the support is really a huge, factor in my success, knowing that if something didn't work out, I still was loved, and having that security is really important.
I mean, your mum is only 10 feet away as we speak, so she's here protecting you even now.
Yes.
And she does come almost everywhere that you go, doesn't she?
She does.
What are the values, do you think, that she's instilled in you?
Well, definitely that, beauty fades, and who you are from within is forever, and definitely be a woman of your word and hard work. She is always correcting me, and I feel like it doesn't matter if you are the janitor or the president, everyone's the same. Making sure that I keep my humility and my spirit, she is always honest with me.
When has she, since you became famous and successful, when has she been the most angry with you?
I remember when we first had our single on the radio, and I was starting to feel like I was hot. And I was in the record store, and she was talking to me, and I started singing because I didn't want to hear whatever she was saying. And I was about 15, and the song was playing on the radio, and I'm like, yeah, and these guys were looking like, ooh, that's Beyonce, and I thought I was hot. And she smacked the crap out of me in that store. When I tell you, what?
Really?
Yes, and sent me to the car and was like, I don't care what song you have on the radio, you are my child, you do not disrespect me, and I will never forget it. It was a great lesson.
So you've never sung again like that in a shop, in a store with your mum?
No, absolutely.
See, when I met her, I could tell, I mean, A, she's got your beauties. I don't think this beauty thing fades. But there was a steely look in her eyes, as if to say,
oh, yes,
you mess with my girl, young man, or old man, and you're going to get it.
She's strong.
So I'm just a smack away from one question goes wrong here, right? She's there.
She is. But she is my friend. And, I mean, we don't agree on everything, and I'm an adult, and, we have our moments because we work together and with our clothing line, and she is respectful.
What is she most proudest of that you've achieved, do you think? What was the moment for your mum?
I can say probably when I sang At Last for the president. I think, my father, all of his history, he grew up in Gaston, Alabama, and he was escorted to school every day because he was one of the first African Americans in his school. And my mother, in her day, she couldn't ride the front of the bus. So for her to see her child.
Doesn't it sound amazing when you say things like that now?
Yes.
In this day and age, that only in our generation even, that's what your parents had to go through. I find that a staggering thing.
I do too.
Even now when I hear it.
It's true. But it's a new day, and my parents saw me being a part of that history. And now I see my nephew, and he's like, I don't understand why everyone is saying that Obama is black, because it's just normal to him, and that makes me, that's my, my joy. So, it's great to see the growth, and it's great that my parents could live to see that, and it makes me very proud.
Chops on you, haven't you?
Thank you.
Wow, you belted that. I mean, waiting before you went to sing that, knowing the background, knowing what you've told me about your parents, the struggle they'd had to come through, like so many African Americans in America. And then here, you have Barack Obama has become president. This sea change. And on the night that America celebrates, you are selected to sing. What are you feeling just before you go out?
Right now, I'm very emotional because it's like I'm reliving it. And it was really powerful and overwhelming. And I kept telling myself, okay, this is not about you. You have to do this for them. You have to do this for history. And it's the only way I was able to get through that song because I wanted to bawl and I wanted to stare and I wanted to watch and I wanted to, you know, but I was a part of it. So it was probably oh my God, I can't believe I was there and I can't believe it was my voice for that moment. And so honored, and so many memories, so many stories from my father and my grandparents and my mother, and just all going through my mind, and it was really fantastic.
Have you had to put up with racism as you grew up? Did you experience the bad side of it?
A bit, but you know, I feel like now people, at least with my career, I've kind of broken barriers, and I don't think people think about my race. I think they look at me as an entertainer and a musician, and I'm very happy that that's changing because I think that's how I look at people, and that's how I look at my friends. It's not about color and race, and I'm just happy that that's changing.
Well, there was a moment around that time when you had the most powerful man in the world, Barack Obama, African American. You had the biggest TV star in the world, Oprah. You, the biggest singing star in the world. You know, Tiger Woods was then the #1 golfer in the world, which would have been unthinkable 20, 30 years before.
Exactly.
The sea change really came through personal achievement as much as anything else.
Absolutely.
Did you feel that?
I did. Absolutely. And I'm proud of it. And I'm just praying that we continue to grow and people continue to see the right things in people.
What did your parents say after you performed at the inauguration?
Oh, my mom cried forever. And I did too. It was a beautiful night. And like I said, definitely the most proud moment for her and for myself.
And the president, what did he say? The First Lady. You talked to them?
I did not speak to them. I wish I had it like that. But I've seen them years later.
I've heard, and you can clear up this rumor. This is a brilliant rumor, even if it's not true. So if it's not true, maybe just pretend. But I've heard that Jay-Z has the president on the speed dial of his cell phone. Is this true?
I don't know.
That means it is.
No, it doesn't. They are amazing. They are wonderful. And I just worked with the First Lady with the Let's Move initiative, and it was so beautiful how much
Because she's
passion.
a remarkable woman.
She is.
Whatever side you are on the political divide, or whatever your view of how he's doing as president, Michelle Obama has barely put a foot wrong. And is a remarkable role model, I think.
She is. And she cares so much. And what she did, her whole idea was so brilliant because the girls and boys were practicing the choreography, not even realizing that they were taking care of their bodies and moving around. And I'm so happy she asked me to be a part of that.
How do you think he's doing as president?
I think he's doing a great job. I think he's fantastic. I think he needs another term. He needs more time. And I think with the time he has, he's incredible.
Will you campaign for him?
Absolutely.
On the stump, doing your bit?
Absolutely. I did the first time, and I will again.
But you must have met him now. You must have spoken to him.
No, I've met him. They're amazing. They're so gracious.
He has got around to thanking you, I hope.
Yes, of course. Of course. And we performed. I performed at the White House, and they were so gracious. They not only spoke to me, they spent time with every single member of my band, and they're just the epitome of class and heart. It's beautiful.
America's going through a sort of difficult phase. Everybody knows that when you're there. Economically, very, very tough conditions. Obviously, various wars going on as well, a lot of drain on resource. What do you think, when you look at America now, what do you think America needs to get itself back on its feet properly?
Well, I think we're getting there. I think we need Obama, and he's doing his job, and we just have to believe in him and trust our president.
And what do you think about what I detect is a slight lack of confidence in America. You're an incredibly confident American businesswoman.
Yes.
What advice do you give to people? Maybe they've lost their jobs, maybe they're going through difficulty. What advice do you give them as someone who came from no money to build this empire through hard work? What do you say to them?
I would say to continue to work hard and don't give up on your goals. And I know for me, like I said, I grew up watching my family struggle, and I grew up with a family that was successful but not born successful. And I believe with hard work and with a goal and love and positivity, then eventually we're going to be fine.
Well, talking of love and positivity, I'm going to have a little break and come back and talk to you about the man in your life.
Uh-oh.
Which I know you love to talk about. You sang with a certain gentleman,
Yes.
Mr. JZ, as we call him in Great Britain. JZ. Now, I sat opposite your husband at a dinner, and I didn't know what to expect. You know, you hear sort of ferocious rap star coming to town, everyone battens down the hatches. In walks this guy, immaculately dressed, I mean, immaculate, incredibly charming, friendly, easy to talk to, funny, very, very funny. We had 2 or 3 hours just talking about life in the universe, a little bit about you and stuff, and I was really impressed with him. And I don't say that just to make you feel good. I actually was genuinely struck by, you know, he's not just a successful singer or a good businessman, he's a good man. It struck me. You could have had your pick of any guy. What was it about JZ? That's the last time I'm calling it that, but it gets me a free laugh in American.
I feel the same way you feel. And Jay and I have kind of made a decision that we want to be known for our music and you know, not our relationships or scandals. And it's hard because sometimes it's like, okay, I can't talk about him, but he's amazing.
He's amazing.
And I agree with all of the things that
occasionally, you should just
said.
better sit back and go, you know what, my husband's a pretty cool guy.
And he is.
And he's a pretty cool guy.
He really is.
He was there last night supporting you.
Yes.
He's abandoned you with me to go to the tennis, which I'm personally quite pleased about.
I'm not. No, I'm happy to be here with you.
But when you sing a song like Crazy in Love, how many times have you been crazily in love in your life?
Not many. Not many at all.
And then you meet this guy.
Yeah.
And that's it, bang.
I definitely had a very natural friendship and connection with him. And I mean, we've been together for a very long time, and I'm just very happy.
What does love mean to you? Proper love.
Well, you know, love is the foundation of everything I do. It's inspired. My music is inspired by love, and from my family, from my husband, from my sisters, and it gives me the security and the confidence that you see on the stage.
And it is, I mean, most people say you have to have had your heart broken to sing with real emotion. I don't get the sense that you ever have.
I've had my life experiences, definitely. I mean, I haven't had this perfect, flawless life. And any relationship, you go through issues and you have to learn each other, and you grow and you have painful moments. And I feel like, you know, a lot of my life experiences I used in this album, there's a way that I'm singing that's very different. And I think I had an epiphany when I did Cadillac Records, when I played Etta James, because for the first time I had to sing from a different place. She was addicted to heroin, and I've never done any drugs, so I had to use, you know, the most painful emotions and memories of my life and sing from that place.
Let's just hold and watch a clip from that, because it was an incredible performance.
Thank you.
And we'll talk about it after this.
You wouldn't even begin to know my problems, baby.
Hey, let me.
My mother was a whore. And that fat motherfucker just looked me in my face, and he didn't see himself. He didn't see his little girl.
I mean, a really visceral, raw performance, that. And it surprised a lot of people. A lot of your critics watched it and were like, whoa, okay. She's not as simple in terms of her performing as we think she is. There was a real depth there. That must have been satisfying to you.
It was very satisfying. And I worked really, really hard. So, you know, it felt good to know that it was appreciated. And even if it wasn't, it was such growth for me as a human being and as an artist. And it made me want to take more risks in my career. It made me a lot braver. And to have the freedom to kind of let go of all ego and not care about what I look like or fitting into a pop star box, it just was really liberating to me.
Do you like the acting?
I do.
Do you like the pace of it? I would imagine with singers, when you get on stage, you know, wham, bam, it's all over in 2 hours.
Yeah.
And you get all the energy out and you go and have a drink, whatever you want to do. When you're acting, you're always sitting around waiting, hundreds of people watching you.
I don't like that as much, but I do like the stability. I like being able to go to the same place every night and your call time is around the same every morning and you're around the same people for 6 months and you don't have to travel 100 places. So you kind of build a family relationship. And because I've been touring since I was 13, that is something I haven't had in my life.
How do you like doing those love scenes?
I don't like them.
Do you not?
No. They're uncomfortable. But after maybe...
Even if it's like Idris Elba, as you had that time.
Uncomfortable.
I mean, he's a good-looking guy.
He is, but, you know, it's weird because, you know, I didn't grow up acting, so I've done 6 or 7 movies, which I've done kind of some romantic scenes in maybe 3. So it's still new to me. But I realized that, you know, it's a part of it, and after a few times, it kind of becomes choreography, so it gets a little easier.
Must be uncomfortable. I couldn't do it.
It's strange. It is. I mean, actors don't say that, but I feel that it's strange.
Beyonce, it just wouldn't be right for you to be in my hometown of London and I don't introduce you to a classic English tea.
I am very happy.
Because I know that despite your very svelte physique, that occasionally you do have lapses and you have these mad eating days, right?
I do. And
Pizzas,
I missed it yesterday.
Fries, it all goes swilling in.
Yes.
You couldn't have it yesterday because of Glastonbury.
Yes.
You now have a piping hot cup of English tea.
Uh-huh.
Then what you need, especially on a hot summer's day like this, is a scone. I'm going to prepare one for you.
Okay. And what is this pronounced?
Well, it's called a scone, or if you're really pretentious, you can call it a scone.
Okay,
which is what people who think they're members of the royal family or ought to be call them scones.
Okay.
So you take some cream. It's about as fattening as it can possibly get. This
delicious.
Take a bit of fattening cream. You take some jam like this, slop it all on, and you put it together. And this is an old-fashioned, and it basically gives you a heart attack in about 5 minutes. But on behalf of Great Britain,
thank you very much.
There is your first ever scone.
Okay, I'm going to try it. Okay, do I just go away?
Just go for it.
Okay.
Now, how good is that? Seriously.
Delicious. I love it.
Seriously. It's
very
the
good.
tastiest thing you'll ever
It's
get
like
to
a
eat.
Popeye's chicken biscuit. My favorite. I know I'm supposed to be proper. I'm having tea.
It's pretty
delicious.
cool, isn't it?
I love it.
Isn't it nice?
The cream is so great.
You've spoken quite honestly and openly about occasionally having slight weight problems in your life. How have you dealt with them? And what advice do you give your female fans in particular who may be going through that period in their lives?
Well, I have found my personal goal, my ideal weight for myself, and I try to stick with that. You can't let anyone tell you what, you know, your best is. You know what your best is. And I work at it. You know, you can have whatever you want. It just takes work.
You're 29 years old.
Yes.
And in September, the
30.
looming, dooming big 3-0 is
Yes.
emerging in your life. You're pretending to be very, very thrilled about this.
No,
Are you?
I am absolutely serious. I can't wait because 29 is very strange. You're still in your 20s, but you feel like you're supposed to be 30, and I feel like a woman. I feel, you know, like I'm very aware of who I am, and I feel great. And I feel like 30 is the ideal age because you're mature enough to know who you are and to have your boundaries and your standards and not be afraid or too polite, but you're young enough to be a young woman. I'm so looking forward to it.
And see, when I hear you speak like this, in this mature, sensible, rational way...
It's the truth.
Yeah, but it's beginning to sound a bit like your mother, which makes me think
no.
You're now heading to the right kind of time in your life.
I'm turning into my mom.
No, I didn't mean that.
You're trying to say I need to have a baby.
I didn't even ask the question.
Okay. I always said I would have a baby at 30.
I know you did.
I'm 29.
Exactly.
But I also said I was going to retire at 30. So I don't know.
So it could be a big year.
Who knows? I'm not retiring.
Can we expect the little patter of little Beyonce and Jay-Z's?
You know, only God knows. Only God knows.
Would you mind asking him to tell me?
I will. I will have a conversation. I'll whisper, but you can't tell anybody else.
Now, we're going to go off in a moment to do a very exciting thing involving your new album. But before we go, if I could ask you to replay the greatest moment of your life, the moment, the 5 minutes maybe, that you would replay if you had the chance, what would it be?
Oh, that's a tough one.
So far?
I talked about, I think, 2 of the highlights, which is Glastonbury and performing for the president.
I was kind of hoping that you were going to say tea and scones
but that's because you didn't give me a chance. You just...
So for the record,
you ruined
the greatest moment of your life?
Absolutely speaking to you today, Mr. Morgan.